It's just about the start of 2017, so I want to go over what Apple's 2017 pipeline is going to look like, my predictions for what we're going to see from Apple. So first, let's start with iPad. The first thing we're going to talk about is the iPad Pro. The new iPad Pros will probably come out in the spring, and I think the biggest update is just going to be a unification and standardization amongst the two models. So right now you have different camera technology and different display technology with respect to True Tone displays between the bigger iPad Pro and the 9.7-inch iPad Pro. I expect those things, amongst others, will be standardized between the two. There's also rumors of a new size. So in addition to having a 9.7 and a 12.9-inch iPad Pro, there would also be a 10.5-inch. I don't really see that happening. I think it would make the iPad Pro line very confusing. Perhaps you see some sort of new iPad Air type of device. So you still have that bigger size form factor, but something to replace the iPad Air 2, which came out a while ago. But I don't expect to have three slight variations of the iPad Pro. Also, with regard to the iPad mini, we haven't seen an update in that in a couple years. I expect that to be updated as well, updated processor, and then smart connector and Apple Pencil support. The Apple Pencil is something that has been surprisingly quite popular, even at its $100 price tag. A lot of people are really into it, and I expect that support to come to the iPad mini. If you like those first two predictions and you want to hear more hardware and software, stay tuned in this video. But if you liked it, why don't you go ahead and click subscribe so all my videos come right to your YouTube homepage. I'd really appreciate it. So now, next up, let's talk iPhone. Obviously, the next iPhone is going to come out in September. It's been coming out in September for years. I expect this to be a significant departure from the iPhone 6 and 7, which are kind of similar. This will be the 10th year of iPhone. So as opposed to being an S upgrade cycle, which it's supposed to be, I expect the iPhone 8 to be significantly improved. Certainly we'll have a lot more coverage about the iPhone 8 next year, which you'll get if you're subscribed, but a couple things that seem to make a lot of sense: an OLED display, a new redesigned chassis so it looks different, as well as a glass back, reduced bezel with a possibly edge-to-edge display, wireless charging, and I actually read that one of Apple's suppliers purchased a company that does long-distance wireless charging, which could be interesting. I think the Touch ID sensor will be integrated into the display technology itself. I think that we'll also have on the Plus model, the bigger size model, optical image stabilization in the telephoto lens. And I believe that it'll also have waterproofing that is the same as the Apple Watch 2, so improved waterproofing over the water resistance that we have with the iPhone 7. In terms of Mac, I think we'll start with MacBook Pro because that was something that recently came out and is very interesting. Obviously, this won't be a redesign. The redesign just happened. There'll be some updated specifications, notably Kaby Lake CPUs, which will allow for more than 16 gigabytes of RAM if you so choose, which was a limitation currently, as well as improved battery life. A lot of talk about MacBook Pro battery life, and I think that will be improved with this next update. There might be additional colors. I also think that the Touch Bar model sometime next year or the year after is going to become standard, and you'll no longer have the non-Touch Bar option. Possibly additional colors and a price drop as well within the next year or two. I think the MacBook Air, it's finally the year that this goes away. It doesn't really make sense anymore in the lineup where nearly everything has a Retina display at this point. I also think when you have the MacBook and the MacBook Pro, you don't really need to have and the MacBook Air. I think that will result in the MacBook with Retina display price going down. In terms of the desktop computers, Tim Cook recently announced that desktops are not forgotten at Apple. Of course, there has been reports about the Mac hardware development teams being really strained. Nevertheless, I think this is the year we'll finally see some updates. They won't be significant. I think the iMac will get a spec bump with USB-C ports. All these new desktops will get USB-C. I think the MacBook Pro will see updates. I think the Mac Mini can also possibly have a redesigned body, something smaller perhaps, again with USB-C support. Particularly with the launch of an updated iMac, a new keyboard option that is going to have Touch Bar on it. Not sure if that's going to be a standard option. I could totally see Apple labeling this as a premium product and something that you'd have to update or upgrade to, but that would make sense to have a new wireless keyboard with Touch Bar support and Touch ID. Next up, Apple Watch. I'm still with my original Apple Watch Series 0, as some people have been calling it. Similar to the Apple Watch 2, it'll be faster. Obviously, that's what happens every generation, but I also think that the Apple Watch 3 will be thinner. We'll finally see kind of a redesign from this initial design, and it makes sense to be a little bit thinner. More sensors. It seems like Apple is now really positioning the Apple Watch, whereas they didn't really know what they wanted to, use it for with the original version. It seems like now they know that health and fitness is the way to market this and to really sell and push. So I imagine that more sensors to get a better indication of your fitness level or a better ability to track your workouts, either cardio or strength training, whatever it would be. I expect improved battery life as well with the Apple Watch 3. Of course, it already has really strong waterproofing options, and I think this will also be the year that we'll get cellular connectivity in the Apple Watch. I think my biggest thing that I'm looking forward to in an Apple Watch is being able to have a lot of the tasks that I use be iPhone independent. I think once we have better battery life that will really last all day with GPS and cellular connectivity on, as well as a device that's really fast and easy for me to transcribe or draw on the display, my message replies, I think that'll make the Apple Watch a really compelling product. I think we'll also see a new product this year. It will be a Siri wireless Bluetooth speaker. It'll have a W1 chip, the same that's in the AirPods. But it basically will be similar to the Amazon Echo in the sense that, yes, you can stream music to it like any sort of Bluetooth and wireless speaker, but you'll be able to speak actively to it and ask it to do certain things for you. I've seen Amazon commercials where it's ordering flowers when you burnt down the bathroom or when you lost your keys to call an Uber, something that'll just make your life easier. And with that, it would definitely make sense to this year to have a significant improvement to Siri, basically to make it smarter so that it connects to more third-party applications. We saw this last year, Siri get improved with the ability to connect to, say, Uber and certain other applications. I expect expanded third-party support this year. And also something really important, context-aware. If I asked, hey Siri, what time do the Yankees play tonight? I could then ask, how much are tickets? And it would remember what I was asking. It would be smart enough to get me some sort of update on that. So I think context-aware Siri will be actually significant, especially now that it's across all of Apple's major product lines in iPhone, iPad, and Mac. So that's just a look at what Apple's 2017 pipeline is going to look like, my predictions for Apple next year. Again, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And again, please click subscribe. That'll really help me out, and it'll be great for you as well because it'll bring all my latest videos right to your YouTube homepage. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.